the latest edition of Dbe News. You can catch this bulletin every Friday at 12 p.m. on the Dbe TV channel 122 if you have an OpenView decoder, or Bricks TV channel 509 at 4:30 in the afternoon if you are a StarSat subscriber, or watch it on the Department of Basic Education's YouTube channel. Remember to share the link with your friends, family and anyone in your circles. My name is Tsehohajo Moagi. Now let's take a look at the top stories this week. The marking of the grade 12 scripts is underway, still under strict COVID-19 protocols. The Basic Education Department took part in the third Vuma vaccination drive. We find out what the message from the Minister is about the COVID-19 vaccine. With the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative in full swing, we speak to the project manager about training being offered to education and general assistance. 16 days of activism for no violence against women and children comes to an end on the 10th of this month. We get details of activities done by the department during this time. And with schools closing soon, the department has sent a stern reminder about the withholding of learners' report cards. You can get in touch with us by using our social media platforms on Twitter at @DBE_SA and at Dbe TV News, Facebook DBESA, Instagram DBESA. You can use the hashtag DBE News. The Basic Education Department says it's all systems go as the marking of grade 12 scripts commences. The process started on Wednesday, the 8th of this month, and it will end on the 22nd of December. The matric class of 2021 began their final exams on the 27th of October. Marking, however, came just as a new Omicron COVID-19 variant was detected by South African scientists. The Marking Center manager at Parktown Boys High School has reiterated that strict COVID-19 protocols will continue to be followed.
And then from the 9th, the marking then will start until the 27th. But we are aiming to at least finish by the 17th latest. And we know that we have got 3 to 4 days of mop-up. Yeah. The department has sent the PPEs. We have got enough surface disinfectant and also the hand sanitizers. We have got also masks, 2 per marker. It's a cloth mask.
He has urged all markers to take care of themselves during this period so results can be issued on time.
We must believe that the COVID-19 is there, and then we must take care of ourselves. Very important, let the markers avoid from going to funerals during this time of marking. Because if they go to funerals, probabilities of carrying the virus to the marking center is very high. So once they can manage that, I think everything will be fine. We will not have any sort of casualties in the marking sites for as long as we make sure that we sanitize always, we make sure that we wear our masks, we make sure that we keep distance, social distancing. Those non-pharmaceutical strategies works. And it is our job to make sure that by next year the results are issued. We must just make sure that we do the best in this process of marking.
The department took part once again in the Vuma vaccination drive from the 3rd to the 5th of December, this time in the Sedibeng District Municipality. The activations took place at several vaccination sites in Emfuleni local municipality, including surrounding schools. The program is aimed at encouraging as many people as possible to take the COVID-19 vaccine and educating those who are still hesitant about the benefits of taking the jab. Our reporter Nandika Björkes has filed this report.
It was another Vuma vaccination weekend earlier this month, and the Basic Education Department took part. Minister Angie Motshekga spent time engaging with community members in the Sebokeng area about getting the COVID-19 vaccine. She also encouraged parents with children aged from 12 years and above to accompany them to various vaccination sites and get the jab.
You know, it's extremely important that everybody vaccinate, because from the reports coming from hospitals, the highest number of people who are now admitted for coronavirus, or those who are testing positive, are the unvaccinated. So which means they're driving the virus and they're going to rob everybody their lives and their freedom. As a country, we can't continue with lockdowns, with shutting up other things. The unvaccinated must go and vaccinate for everybody's sake, for their sake and our sake. We have prop-ups at places everywhere. They must present themselves for vaccination. It's a humble appeal, but I think it's a fair thing to really ask people to help us not go through a vicious fourth wave which we are already in, and we are told it's driven by the unvaccinated.
During this campaign, the Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson vaccines were available. Mfuleni Executive Mayor Sipho Dbe joined the call for residents to get vaccinated.
I want to send the message to say to our people in all corners of Mfuleni, take charge of this process. It's a Vuma weekend drive, and then please be part of it. From young children, adults, let's take care. And then for us to decline this high rise of this coronavirus, for us to do so, it's only one way that we get vaccinated. I urge you that we take responsibility in your own life, for your neighbors, for your friends, encourage one another. Those who have vaccinated, thumbs up. And those who are still thinking about it, this is the right time. Please go and vaccinate.
And residents of Sebokeng heeded the call.
And the COVID so at least you have a shabile high live from school next year
so there's no side effects sharp. Yeah, so yeah, we feel normally like I don't feel so I'm not yeah, sharp.
Why did you decide to delay vaccine?
Because again next day you will university and stuff, so I want to more like anything also go vaccine. So yeah, that's why we did vaccine.
Minister Motshekga also took the time to thank the matric class of 2021 for keeping their pledge, as no major incidents were reported during the writing of the National Senior Certificate exams.
For grade 12s, congratulations. Thank you for staying the course. Good luck. Some of you may not have done well. We had a very difficult time in 2020, 2019 because of, especially the grade 11s of 2019, the grade 12s of 2021. It's been quite difficult. So if there are difficulties, please present yourself to rewrite. Don't worry if you don't succeed. You'll write in June. You have the whole 6 months to prepare for your second chance. But in between, go and vaccinate. There's vaccination available for young people. We appeal to all young people, go and vaccinate.
The department also had exhibitions on site to showcase and share information about various programs, including Read to Lead, Funza Lushaka, and the Second Chance Matric Support Program. I am Nandika Bugas reporting for Dbe TV News in Sebokeng.
After the break, we get details about the training being offered to general and education assistants as the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative gets underway.
Igama lami ngo-Asithandile Situkwana and ngenza ugrade 7. Ukuvala kwekolo kusibambezele ukuthi emakhaya besinganabomema basifundisayo nama extra class awekho, so ene mina ngapha ngifuna ukuya ku grade 8. So ukuthi kuvala ikolo isikhathi eside kangaka kusibambezele. Ama marks wami ngwabheka manje ngathi ayayehla. and nabo mem abekho emakhaya umuntu uyazifundela akunamuntu oku-explainelayo lento le oyifundayo ukuthi izokwazi ukuthi uyibambe ekhanda and mawubuya esikoleni bafike bakufundise so uyikhohliwe nalento lebo uyifunda so kusibambezele kakhulu ukuthi sihlale emakhaya isikhathi eside kangaka. Ukubuyela esikoleni kungisizile ngokuthi sesiyakhona ukuthola ama-maski, siyakhona ukusanitizer, siyakhona nokuthi basi-check i-temperature basikene and nokuthi khona abantu abasigadile ukuthi senza kanjani and sesiyakhona nokufunda kahle. I-message yami for ama-grade 7 ukuthi bangakhathazeki, just that bona mabafunde nje kuphela baqhubeke ney'ncwadi zabo kona ukuya ku-grade 8 sizoya noma kunini. I-message for our teacher ukuthi siyabonga ukuthi bayeza esikoleni bazosinceda size nathi siphumelele.
Mina igama lami nguMonica Mwahi, iposition yami la ngi-intervention specialist, ngisebenza ngokuhlukunyezwa kwabesifazane nabantwana nabafana. Siyazama ukunceda kakhulu ezintweni ezinjengema-gender based violence, ukuhlukunyezwa ne-sexual abuse kakhulu ebantwaneni. Khona manje njengoba kuba ne-COVID-19 kwaphela abantu baphelelwa imisebenzi, abantu bahlala ekhaya kwaba ne-lockdown e-strict, bese mhlambe kube nokungazwani kahle endlini, bese kuchaphazelele ebantwaneni bayibone lento ukuthi yenzakala, bona bayoyipractice ngaphandle. They are vulnerable. I-vulnerability yabo yiyo le enza ukuthi ekugcineni kube ama-target. I would say it's a good idea for them to go back to school because mabahlele ekhaya they are not monitored. Mabasesikoleni at least bazokwazi ukuthi umntwana uzoba nokuthi uthole i-sanitizer, uthola i-mask, uthola indlela yokuwasha izandla. Masihleli la ekhaya azikho lezo zinto, siyabaxosha nathi sithi bayasidina bayodlala ngaphandle, bahlangane nabanye, bahlangane nabantwana abanye badlale nabo kanjalo babe infected ngale COVID-19. So abantwana abancane they are easy ukuthi uba monitor just to guide them to the correct way. So I think ukuthi mababuyela esikoleni they will understand better. Abothisha abantu ababanika indlela yokuthi bafunde ngayo.
Welcome back. The Basic Education Department is training education and general assistants who have been appointed at various schools as part of the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, which seeks to mitigate the challenges brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic. Through the initiative, the department has provided about 280,000 unemployed young people with employment and training opportunities in the education sector within a period of 5 months. The department has described the initiative as a good learning experience that these young people can be proud to put on their CVs. I had a conversation with the project manager about the training that will be given to EAs and GAs, and this is what he had to say.
In phase 2, we want to prioritize the training of the young people. It's something that we did also in phase 1, but we're putting more emphasis on it in phase 2. Let me start by saying that in phase 2, what we've done is we've separated the young people into 2 main categories, is the education assistants. And in that categories, we have 3 subcategories, which would be the curriculum support, e-cadres, and the reading champions. And under the GSAs, or the general school assistants, we have the child and youth care workers, handymen, and the sports and enrichment assistants. Just for information, the sports and enrichment assistants, we did not have in phase 1. So it's a new addition, only in phase 2. And they will be supporting in the implementation of sports, arts, and culture activities in the schools. So we just want to provide training for each of the young people in this particular areas. But not only that, we have 5 other compulsory training areas. I'll mention a few, or actually pretty much all of them. So it's 3 in terms of the orientation. The orientation is just really to orientate the young people around the program, what to expect, what kind of attitude do we want from them, and also the National School Safety Framework, because the young people will be working with learners in the schools. We want them to understand the do's and the don'ts, and for them to be able to pick up signs that maybe children might be, being abused in the homes or in the community, wherever it might be. And also we have, in the COVID-19 context, we're also prioritizing the orientation of the young people around COVID-19. And what we're doing here, we are using the standard operating procedures, which were produced by the department in 2020. They've been slightly revised, so we are following the revised protocol, just to familiarize the young people with what the requirements are and the do's and the don'ts around COVID-19. Over and above that, we are providing every young person that is appointed on the program with financial literacy and also digital literacy. So those are the 5 primary compulsory training areas over and above what every person will receive in line with their area of appointment.
Well, this sounds really interesting, and it really has gone, you have really added a bit more of the training, and it's not just mainly focused on just what they need to assist the teachers with. How has it gone? Have you started yet?
We have started. The start has just been a bit slow. I'll tell you why. It's mainly because with some of the training, we need to follow supply chain processes for procurement of service providers. I'll give an example of the handyman and handywomen training. We need to be, so most provinces are going to be using service providers from outside the department. And as such, they need to be to follow supply chain processes to procure those services. And also with the Reading Champions, although we are working with NGOs, some of the provinces will have to go through the relevant processes just to appoint the service providers. Child and youth care workers is also another one. Even though we are using the National Association of Child and Care Workers, there is a need for the provinces to follow the necessary processes to procure the services of the sole provider, which is the National Association of Child and Care Work.
So give us a bit more. Go ahead.
Yeah. But so to a large extent, we've been delayed by the procurement requirements. But in this past week, in the coming week, there's a bit of an acceleration towards training because things have died down in terms of the examinations in the schools. So there's been a bit more time for the schools to dedicate towards supporting the young people to attend training.
I hate it when someone violates me, like you.
In a violent situation, there is power in walking away. I will not take part in fights at school.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555. All I want is to feel safe, to feel loved, and to be free to show love, like you.
I cry when I'm hurt, because to feel is to be human. I pledge to be more open about my emotions.
Make it part of the new normal for young boys to be nurtured and loved, to freely express themselves and to show love in a safe, inclusive way. We have different gender identities, but first, we are human. If you need assistance to help your child, contact Childline on 08000 55 555.
Welcome back. As schools will be closing soon, the department has reminded schools that they cannot, by law, withhold learners' report cards. This is informed by Section 2912 of the National Protocol on Assessments for Grade R to 12, which prohibits both public and private schools from withholding report cards for any reason. The directive states that a report card is issued as the only official document that is used to give feedback to parents on the achievement of their children.
Well, the message should be very clear that schools are not allowed to withhold school reports that are due to be given to learners. It is important that schools refrain from doing so because it is against the law. It is important that they find other ways of communicating with parents, communicating with guardians, or those people who are responsible for the payment of fees. And here we are talking about fee-paying schools. In fact, even in no fee-paying schools, no one is allowed to withhold the school report of a child. They are entitled to it, they have worked to it, they are not involved in the issues of school fees, they are not employed, they don't work. So parents need to make sure that they meet their obligations, communicate with the schools, and schools also must pursue parents using other means. But withholding a child's report because the parents or guardians have not paid fees, that's not a way to go. We once again wish to advise our school principals or deputy principals or even SGBs in some instances to please refrain from doing so, because it is against the law, and we don't want to see parents being stressed again because they are worried that they will go to the December holidays without their children's reports, which schools are withholding, saying that because the children are owing certain monies. But also, it has to be a partnership. The parents and guardians need to communicate and collaborate very closely with the school. If there are any challenges, please communicate so that arrangements are made, so that we don't find ourselves in a situation where the children are stressed, they have worked all year, and they can't access their report. So we please advise our schools to make sure that everything that they do is strictly aligned to the law of the country.
The 16 Days of Activism for No Violence Against Women and Children campaign takes place annually from the 25th of November, which is International Day of No Violence Against Women, to the 10th of December, International Human Rights Day. This year's theme is the Year of Charlotte Manya Maxeke, 16 Days of Activism moving from awareness to accountability. The Department of Basic Education had activities that were being intensified during this period.
As the department, we have run a sensitization workshop on gender diversity. And this sensitization workshop was talking about issues that are contributing factors to discrimination that leads to the LGBTQI communities. And one of the key factors that were discussed during the workshops were the issues around bullying, bullying from schools, bullying from communities, and bullying in our communities. Second to that was the gender responsive pedagogy toolkit engagement that we had with the Department of Basic Education in KZN. And the purpose of that engagement was to check and see how far KZN has actually piloted this toolkit. The toolkit really speaks about issues of teaching gender at a very early age, foundation phase to be particular, because we know for a fact that as early as 5 years old, children have begun to form stereotypes that are gender related. So it is important for us to begin to teach them that what is gender and what is the importance of them understanding gender at that particular age.
This toolkit will be piloted in 4 provinces in the country as the Basic Education Department prepares to take over the functions of early childhood development.
We had a workshop that we had done with the Northwest Province. The workshop is really to train master trainers on the toolkit so that the beginning of 2022, provinces begin to actually pilot the program, the toolkit, into their ECD practitioners and educators. And we are going to go into other 3 more provinces, which is Northwest, Free State, Northern Cape, and Eastern Cape. So those are the 4 provinces that we are going to pilot this gender responsive pedagogy toolkit for 2022.
The department has also had intergenerational dialogue activities on various issues, including mental health.
We are also of the view that despite the challenges that have been raised by COVID-19, we also need to keep engaging our learners and capacitating them so that they become more resilient and in their doing things. So we had this intergenerational dialogue with one of the women of influence that was really talking to children on issues of mental health and what is the importance of them understanding mental health and what is it that they need to do should they experience signs of mental health.
That's how we end this week's news roundup on Channel 122 on OpenView, on YouTube, and of course on Dbe TV Channel 509 Starset. Until next time, it's goodbye from myself, Tsegohal Jomoagi, and the entire team. Thank you for watching.